must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
It is ridiculous and it is against the laws of nature that we can have somebody sitting pretty who takes home more money than the credible entrepreneur who is doing actual production of goods and services.
We always say it as it is.
It is only in this country that when a thief is arrested, you hear elders from their tribe saying, "He is our son and he is our thief."
If you are deviant
Yes.
and I call you leader,
Yes.
probably you are already a leader, but you are leading in the wrong direction.
We want to see the role of the youth
Yeah.
in the security,
Yes.
governance,
Yes.
and development.
The youth that I meet and work with here, you know, we call them the millennials and X's and Y's, this and that. They don't necessarily want to live like their fathers and grandfathers,
Yes.
do business like their fathers and grandfathers. They're more independent, they're better educated, and they're the ones that are making everything move in this region.
We look at the issues, we talk about issues that impact people's lives in Africa.
The African peoples themselves continue to cheer bad leaders, and because they cheer them on, they continue to be misled.
Let me ask you, doctor, would you rather be somebody who does not enjoy so much freedom but you are rich?
Yes.
Or you'd rather be poor who you are actually imprisoned by the poverty itself?
My goal is not to come here and say, I want the majority ownership, I want to own this, I want to own that, I want to do this. My goal is we all make money and we're all happy, and I help build a big business here.
Punchline is for Africa, with Africa, from Africa.
Zimbabwe's economy is cursed because we have a bad leadership running the treasury of the people of Zimbabwe. President Emerson Mnangagwa should have picked a person who understands the political, social, economic apparatus of what the economy of Zimbabwe needs. President Emerson Mnangagwa would have been able to walk out of this quagmire of the economy by picking a leader, a person who is able to manage the economy. The current Minister of Finance is a parrot of George Soros, Brent Woods institutions. He cannot run the economy. A person who always talks of hiked prices, hiked percentage.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Africa. This is Diaspora Dispatches coming all the way from the Political Command Center in London and together with the General Headquarters in Nairobi, where Miriam will be the main controller of the airplane. I hope it will not go like the Malaysian plane that left the radar system and was never saved. But Miriam has never lost a plane at all. She's always on course when it comes to Pan-African matters. Thank you very much. My panel, our panel this morning, I know it is about 21 minutes past in Harare, in other parts in Southern Africa, and in London, where we are, it is just 21 minutes past 8 o'clock. Thank you very much. Thank you, wherever you are in the world, listening in Tripoli, in Cairo, in Rabat, in Abuja, in Cape Town, in Johannesburg, in Harare, in Maputo, in Kinshasa, in Kampala, where the man.
All right, we apologize. We seem to be having a problem there with Dr. Matsanga's signal from the Political Command Center. But once Doctor is able to come back, and that has been rectified, he can continue with that. I think he wanted to get into the business of introducing our panelists for today. And by the way, a very good morning to you, good evening, and good afternoon. All right, Doctor, it's back. Okay. We still have a bit of a problem there. So I'll just go ahead. My name is Mira Mugutu, and thank you so much for finding time to be with us today. And joining us on the panel this morning is Mr. Maganza from Zimbabwe. Good morning, Mr. Maganza.
Good morning, Miriam. Good morning, viewers.
All right, and we're also joined by Professor Jared Onyari from Nairobi. Professor, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam, our panelists, and the rest of our viewers.
All right, and we also have Douglas Kirimi from Kenya. Douglas, good morning.
Good morning, Miriam. Good morning to our comrades, the panelists from Zimbabwe. Good morning to Dr. David Matsanga and also to our crew back at our headquarters. And also good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our viewers across the world. Thank you for having me on the show.
Very nice to have you. And we have Madam Ebonge Shumba all the way from London in the United Kingdom. Good morning.
Good morning, Miriam. Thank you for welcoming me to the program. Good morning, Dr. Matsanga. Good morning, every panelist, all comrades. And a good morning, a special good morning to all our viewers across the globe. Thank you.
Very nice to have you on the show today, Madam Bongi. And we also have Mr. Ngandu. Very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam. Good morning, panelists, and good morning to all our viewers everywhere.
All right, and our viewers, I see you've started already engaging with us. Keep writing. I shall be reading some of the comments as we continue with the show, but I'll take us back to Dr. David Matsanga so that he could lay for us the groundwork and introduce the topic for us.
Thank you very much, Miriam. I hope I'm being audible enough now.
It's good.
And I hope Mr. Maganza has been introduced. I didn't hear.
I've introduced everybody, so just introduce our topic.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Mr. Anzania Misirori from South Africa, somewhere there, is coming in, and Miriam will introduce the person. Let me go straight to the subject. One of the problems that kills Africa is they don't listen to their own fellow Africans. As the Bible says, a prophet is never welcome in his own home. That Jesus Christ had to move away from Nazareth to go and preach somewhere in Judea where he could be heard. Africans don't listen to their own prophets. On 18th of February, the year of our Lord 2020. The panel, I wrote a letter, addressed it to all African presidents. I believe Ramaphosa, as the chairman of African Union, received his copy. I'm 100%. His Excellency President Emerson Mnangagwa received it because I sent it directly to his email and his phone. Museveni also received it. President Kenyatta received it. Most of the late Kagame at least replied, said he had seen the comments. In that letter, I said and I predicted that lots of things will happen in Africa. Having looked at the background research of what was happening in Wuhan, where multinational companies headed by George Soros, the gentleman of Microsoft, and the wife, Menena, or whatever you call her, I don't know the name, and the other people under the mess that World Health Organization, the confusion in the World Health Organization briefings, I wrote to African heads of state, alerting them to prepare about the pandemic. I said in that letter, I will not say much. William will look for it or in Nairobi, and they put it on. It is there, well documented. I said, if the pandemic can disorganize first world countries, if the pandemic can break down the systems of the first world countries, what about us who don't have even a path for a bicycle? There are some parts in Africa where there is no path for a bicycle. Forget about a road for a car, no path for a bicycle. There are some parts in Africa where you don't have even one aspirin in the medical facilities. I was very candid. I have remained candid on this issue of the pandemic. The relationship between South Africa and Zimbabwe seem to have blown out itself as a result of this pandemic. Accusations and counter-accusations. The workforce of most Zimbabweans who ran away as a result of Moyo's obnoxious regime or Moyo's bad manners, the very people who are encouraging Zimbabweans to fight each other, like Jonathan Moyo, who made laws very, very difficult for Zimbabweans to stay in Zimbabwe, ran to South Africa. The biggest workforce is in South Africa. They came for holidays across to Zimbabwe. They need to go back. They are legally in South Africa. They are legalized their documents as refugees. Some have got them on work permits. They are entitled. But the danger that I want to tell you about Microsoft man, Bill Gates, is Ramaphosa. And I want Zimbabweans to listen to this. Ramaphosa, Bill Gates, Strife Masiyiwa are brothers in one bed. I don't know which bed, but one of the beds. If Strife Masiyiwa visits Bill Gates, he sleeps on the American side. Why the Zimbabwe situation and why there is confusion between Zimbabwe and South Africa is because of Strife Masiyiwa. Other factors can come, but Strife, remember, Ramaphosa appointed Strife Masiyiwa as the overall coordinator of Corona-19 pandemic in Africa. I don't know whether Zimbabweans, my friends in London, Gondia and the others speak to that one. What does that translate to you? You have already antagonized the government of Emerson Mnangagwa, where Mr. Strive Masiyiwa is already wanted for several charges about money laundering and so on. And you appoint him on the panel that delivers the pandemic rescue mission. There you cause a diplomatic hitch, which is now killing the relationship, creating the relationship, making the relationship sound. Point number 2, quickly before I leave, so that the panel can start talking. The over-ambitious surrogates of George Soros within the ANC. And I am saying this with very serious intelligence, which I have, that have wanted a regime change across Zimbabwe, are behind the mess, hoping that this could ignite and get Zimbabweans come out on the streets to fight. Because if you block Zimbabweans to return to work, where do they go? Their families are across. You create a strife. It's a regime change tactic. Does it occur to you that America gave you 20 ventilators so lately? Didn't America have the 20 ventilators? The ambassador kept these ventilators in Harare to rescue MDC officials. But when they saw the time is running out and Trump has been trumped and he's on his way out, the ambassador now came to give you 20 ventilators. Didn't you need those ventilators to save lives before? You needed them. Double standards. Now, behind all this Wuhan, China, there is a mystery. And that mystery, what did George Soros know that he went to build a factory in Wuhan? What did Bill Gates, lady, wife, know, which we didn't know, that dead bodies will be in Africa, littered all over? What did Dr. Tedros know that we didn't know, which Chinese know, they never told us? What has China done in a city of 80 million people, in a city of 80 million people, where over 400 aircraft fly in and out? Why is it that not huge number of Chinese died? Okay, when it came to Ramaphosa, what role as the chairperson of African Union has Ramaphosa played in making sure that the pandemic comes to an end? He's telling us to take this vaccine, actually swallow it. I don't. Is in Luton, has already. I don't know which category you are. In London, I'm in category number 4 and number 3 because of my age. 65 Gandu and Amai Bongi. I don't know what age you are. Women don't tell the age, but at 65, I am in category number 3 to be given this vaccine. Several letters have arrived at the doorstep for me to be injected quickly because there is a likelihood of my departure. You know, the worst thing is an African fears to be told that you are have you seen very few Africans dig their graves and prepare a grave for where will be buried? It's an abomination in Africa. But it is very normal in Croydon for me to go to Croydon Cemetery and tell them I have booked this space. So there is a problem here. And that problem has always been with us Africans. So whatever has happened, you have seen now there are theories. Some people don't want to wear masks, just as Mbeki told us that AIDS does not exist. And Zuma came and said, you don't need to have a test or medicine after HIV contact with anybody. This is daytime, we can't speak beyond that. But you saw why that pandemic has hit so hard in South Africa is because of the underlying diseases. If you have diabetes, you have HIV/AIDS. That one will run you expressly to the mortuary. Because now they must treat both, or they must treat three. If they are treating three with drips, one drip here for HIV, another drip here, you know, the medicine might not work. Let's speak the truth about this. The rate of death and the rate of infection in South Africa is high because they never looked after themselves on HIV programs. They underrated the advice of all international agencies. It has been blown out. Kenya has been educating its people on the programs of HIV. And in South Africa, there is a discussion whether this thing exists or not. Malema comes to tell you it is just a hoax. Another one comes to say it is real. Nobody follows the SOPs. The thing has struck so hard. Now, if you look at that small background I've given you, and the Zimbabweans themselves are here, I don't want to speak for them. They are here to make their minds, speak their minds. What is this problem between Zimbabwe and South Africa over the pandemic? There is a pandemic, and we are fighting. Two countries are fighting, exchanging very bad words. What can we do as Africans to save the fellow Africans who have got a problem, which we see now, the pandemic is eating in and taking ground with new virus approaching. My contention, my submission is, whichever way you answer the question, there is a regime change undertone into this pandemic crusade. Whichever way you answer the question, whether you are in or against the drug, whether you take vaccination, there is an undertone of regime change. And we now have a government that has arrived in Washington. We better be prepared for the worst, because they will be coming to dictate on which governance we should have. I therefore call upon the panel to discuss and bring us, especially those in Zimbabwe, to tell us what is this that South Africa is not very happy accusing Zimbabwe of bringing disease, yet the disease originates, Britain says, planes from some country, people in South Africa do not land. There are so many things happening. So then Miriam, back to the studio. That's why I wanted to find out, what is this diplomacy during the pandemic? A hitch has come. People are quarreling. Two neighbors, two freedom fighters are quarreling. Is it the President Ramaphosa who has already failed us in African Union, who cannot condemn a bad election in Uganda, where instead of election, it was a nomination. And we are going to wear perfumes and go and meet in Addis Ababa. That's the life we have gone through. Are people trying to sell the drug? How did Bill Gates and the wife know that there will be dead bodies in Africa? Have there been dead bodies? There, yes. Are they falling like they predicted? What can Africa do to make sure that their people understand that this disease is real? Do we need more education? Do we need more death in order to understand that it is a very serious matter? Those are the questions for the panel I submit.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Matanga, for that introduction. Now, the latest from Zimbabwe, before we just to set up the background of our conversation today. Of course, Doctor has already done that. 4 Zimbabwean cabinet ministers have died from COVID-19, 3 within the past 2 weeks, highlighting a resurgence of the disease that is sweeping through the South African country. And President Emmerson Mnangagwa said the coronavirus is reaping a grim harvest in the country. Now, a couple of weeks ago, South Africa's decision to shut its land borders was preceded by a week of pandemonium as hundreds of thousands of foreigners tried to return to work after the December holidays. Bight Bridge, the only legal road crossing between Zimbabwe and South Africa, and Southern Africa's busiest inland border post, was the worst affected. People waited not always patiently for as long as 4 days in lines of traffic and stretched miles from the border gate, with delays caused by the need to produce a certificate showing negative test for COVID-19. And that is not the first time that South Africa has tried to close its borders with Zimbabwe. Earlier last year in March, when COVID-19 had just started hitting Africa, that time Zimbabwe had only 1 case and South Africa had about 202. When South Africa decided to close its borders, it announced its plans to erect a fence between itself and Zimbabwe. And of course, officials in Zimbabwe reacted very indifferently at South Africa's announcement that it planned to erect a fence along the border with its neighbor as part of measures to stem irregular migration and contain the spread of the new coronavirus. Mark you, at that time, Zimbabwe had only recorded 1 case, and South Africa, which today is leading in terms of the number of infections and death and also recoveries there, had already reported about 202. So as we speak today, South Africa has reported over 1.42 million cases of coronavirus, and Zimbabwe has recorded about 31,646. You cannot even compare, but South Africa seems to be worried so much about coronavirus coming from Zimbabwe, while we see what's happening there. And we're praying and we're condoling with the people who have lost their lives there across Africa, and we know South Africa has been very hard hit. So I don't know. I'll perhaps start with Madam Bongi there. What's really happening here between South Africa and Zimbabwe?
Bongi?
Right. Miriam, I didn't think you were going to come after me first.
Sorry.
Always we honor ladies.
Ladies.
That's okay, Madam Bongi, go ahead.
Rightly, like what Dr. Matanga just said in that summary, I just thought, well, even the blind eyes, they begin to see when things are being revealed, not by anybody, but by the perpetrators themselves, because they're doing things right now. Everything is pointing at actually waging a war between 2 brothers, between 2, like Dr. Matanga said, 2 freedom fighters, ANC and ZANU-PF, and let me say, and the Revolutionary Party of Zimbabwe have always been buddies. They've always looked after each other. They've always supported each other, and we wouldn't think otherwise when it comes to their governments. But what we are seeing, there's a bit of some discord in that relationship. And it's actually getting worse with each day, where we are thinking that probably things are going to be settling a little bit. We're finding that there's a bit of aggression, there's a bit of a stern hand coming from the other brother. And my opinion, Miriam, if you ask me what's happening, I'm just saying there is an intruder who has come in between the two brothers. And when I'm talking of brothers, I'm talking of Zimbabwe and South Africa. There is an intruder. There is a third force that is coming in, obviously for an agenda that we may not exactly know right now, but whatever agenda that is, it's not to our benefit at all. Neither is it to the benefit of South Africans. You will find that the South African government, yes, it's a black majority government, but in actual fact, when we even look at their parliament and when we look at their economy structures, when we look at who really runs the show, we will still go back and say, I would safely say, the apartheid is still playing a big role and a big hand in everything that is in South Africa. So because of that, obviously, we say in our country, so whoever has got the means is the boss, is the one who runs the show. So because of that, I personally think our brother Cyril Ramaphosa may not have much to do, may not have a room to maneuver himself and actually do exactly as he would like to do. We don't know. Maybe he's also disheartened. Maybe he's feeling the pain. Maybe he wants to work together with his brother. But there's this big, massive, huge hand which is right above him, like behind his neck, to choke him from behind to say, this is the way, this is the line to toe. And I can say from an outsider's point of view, this is how I look at things. South Africa, they're not doing things according to what they've planned themselves. And coming to Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe has just began a new era. And honestly speaking, there is not much that we can do. I know we're 3 years into the new dispensation right now. And wherever there's a change, is bound to have a lot of hurdles and hitches. And remember also, whilst we are in Zimbabwe, we have the very people who are not at all interested in seeing us living a peaceful life. And those people, they have not spared us. They've not taken their dirty noses, the dripping noses, from or out of our day-to-day business. Dr. Matsanga has just mentioned the issue of today. Somebody comes out in the middle of the pandemic and they are taking out a lot of equipment and they're pretending to donate the equipment, when in actual fact that equipment has been lying idle there and people were suffering and dying. So you can actually see that hypocrisy is just done for something else, not in utmost good faith. It's not a genuine gesture, but it's done to tick their boxes. Obviously, they have a plan laid down, but unfortunately, as they are unfolding their plans, everything is being revealed. But the big question is whether they will be stopped sooner or soon enough. That's the biggest question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Bungi. And speaking about plan, now on average, Byte Bridge processes about 25,000 people a day, the bridge that was closed according to Zimbabwe's immigration department. But that number rises dramatically in January. Many of the 2 to 3 million Zimbabweans working in South Africa return home in December, and the rush back to work in early January sees numbers spike. So the timing there, that South Africa decided this will be the time to try to close that bridge there. Mr. Manganza, what do you make of all this?
Switch on.
Oh, all right. All right. I'll switch it on.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Miriam.
Please, could you fix your Mr. Mangaza? Sorry, could you fix your headroom because we need to see your face.
Okay.
Yes, very well. Better now.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Right. The challenge I am seeing, which is taking place between Zimbabwe and South Africa, is in relation to immigrants. Zimbabwe actually is the passage of people from the north who will be finding their way to South Africa. Zambia, you name it, Malawi, Congo, Ethiopia, Somalia, they use Zimbabwe as their gateway to South Africa. And at times, there are people who register themselves as Zimbabweans when they are non-Zimbabweans. And then we find out that the numbers in South Africa will be high, whereby they will claim that there are so many Zimbabweans, and according to South Africans, they will be thinking that we are congesting their health system, which at times won't be true as such, because there are lots of immigrants from Mozambique and even Botswana, Lesotho, and many other countries. But mainly they focus on Zimbabwe, as if it is the only Southern African country which has got immigrants or migrants in South Africa as such. So, which means it will sound as if we are the ones who bring the disease. I was following up on this COVID-19 disease. We realized that there were victims in South Africa before we had even a single victim in Zimbabwe. They had to begin the lockdown measures in South Africa before even Zimbabwe they had to introduce any lockdown measures. We had to only introduce lockdown measures after realizing that South Africa had closed its borders and others, and so we had to follow suit. And by so doing, South Africa does not want to own up that it has got the disease, and the disease there is spreading, even the new variant. It is emanating from there and getting to us in Zimbabwe. They are failing to control their own diseases and then lay the blame on other countries. The West thought that probably this disease will wipe us as Zimbabweans or as Africans, but unfortunately, maybe it is due to our weather, which does not allow the disease to incubate well, and then it will affect people rampantly. That probably there is a fortunate part of our weather as compared to the European weather, which is very cold there. But in reality, the tiff, which is between the two countries, is only about superiority. South Africa feels that it is a big brother in Southern Africa because many people get it there in search of greener pastures, so-called greener pastures, which are no more green indeed. They've already withered. And so by so doing, I do believe all what is needed is a concerted effort by Southern African countries, and South Africa being led by Ramaphosa, who also happens to be the AU chairperson, to get down as quickly as possible and find a solution, find vaccines for Africa. Not all countries in Africa are bestowed with riches. People, to save the lives of people, they should find something which we as Africans have got to do, get vaccines for Africa and have our people vaccinated. Rather than throwing spanners in the works of each other's machines, it does not help us in any way. That's my submission.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Mangadza. Professor Jared Onyari, the timing that South Africa decided this would be the right time to close the border between itself and Zimbabwe there. And we know, as I mentioned there earlier last year in March, when Zimbabwe had just recorded one case. At that time, South Africa had about 202. And South Africa felt as though Zimbabwe was the biggest threat when it comes to the spread of COVID-19. And so one of their biggest priority, I don't know if they've been able to follow through with that announcement, they wanted to erect a fence to protect South Africans from any potential spread of COVID-19 from Zimbabwe, which I think so far, all things considered, I think Zimbabwe has done very well in trying to contain this disease because it has only recorded cases up to 31,646. The death toll in Zimbabwe is about 1,075. And South Africa, which is leading in the continent with over 1.42 million cases, I think, it's quite... the disparity is quite wide there. So why do you think this is happening, and why does South Africa feel, of all the other countries that have access to South Africa, why do they feel that it is through their border in Zimbabwe, which they have a bigger risk, or are there other underlying problems there that South Africa has been looking for an opportunity to address? Professor? All right, I'll go to Mr. Ngandu. Very well. I'll go to Javan Karanja from Kenya.
Ngandu
he's here. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Ngandu. Go ahead.
Thank you, Miriam. I think that the problem that we're having with South Africa is not about COVID. I think COVID is a smokescreen. What we need to bear in mind is that in South Africa and in Zimbabwe, the parties that are in government are the revolutionary parties. In Zimbabwe, there has been a lot of effort to try and get ZANU-PF out of power. In South Africa, there's a lot of chaos that's being sown within the ANC to try and get the ANC out of power in South Africa. Unless these two ruling parties in both countries understand the threat that there is to their tenure in office, they will be made to spend their efforts fighting battles that are not necessary. I am concerned that while we meet within the Forum for Liberation organizations within Southern Africa, South Africa could allow itself to even begin to do this sort of thing. My thinking is that if you look at the history that of South Africa's treatment of Africans in South Africa, other Africans in South Africa over the years, has been a very bad record of xenophobia. People being, South African blacks killing blacks from Africa, from the rest of Africa who are resident in South Africa at the moment. They don't do that to white people. They do that only to blacks. They don't do that to Asians. And there's a lot of Asians in South Africa. They don't attack them at all. As far as this black South African is concerned, the only people that take jobs away from them are Africans from Africa, from outside of South Africa. The forces that fight against African liberation will continue to stir up a lot of rubbish to make sure that Africans continue to fight with each other in order for those that are causing the fights to benefit from those fights. I want to think that it is mindless. If you look at it from a statistical point of view, it does not make sense that a country which has the largest number of COVID starts will begin to say to a country that has far much less than them, to see them as a threat to their, health in their country. It does not make sense. If you look at what's happening at the international level at the moment, flights have been, for instance, I'm in England here, they have been discouraging people coming in from South Africa to come. Because of this strain of COVID coming out of South Africa, which they say is more aggressive, and they are actively tracing it to make sure that it is dealt with. South Africa has very serious health challenges which need to be dealt with, but they can't be dealt with by pointing fingers at a neighbor unless there is a hand somewhere that is seeking to destroy the relationship between South Africa and Zimbabwe. And that hand is intended to destroy the relationship between ZANU-PF and the African National Congress, the ANC of South Africa. Our people need to wake up and realize that there is a third hand, like Comrade Bongi said earlier, that needs to be dealt with. And I think that we all know that South Africa, the economy in South Africa is held by white people. And they call the shots in South Africa. And the problem that you keep hearing is the interference of white monopoly capital in the running of state affairs in South Africa. And these are the very same people who came up with plans to destroy people in Zimbabwe. We know the history of apartheid South Africa and its destabilization in Zimbabwe. What these comrades in South Africa need to realize is that when they needed Zimbabwe during the liberation struggle, we housed them, we protected them, we died for them. I know that in my trade union in Zimbabwe, the Mine Workers Union, we kept and protected President Cyril Ramaphosa in our trade union building in Harare, when there were parcel bombs that were being sent out all the time and killing these people. We protected Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa in our trade union, Mine Workers Union in Zimbabwe, in Harare. This relationship must never be sacrificed. We need to go back to basics. We need to go back to where we came from and work with each other. These borders that we have are artificial borders. We are Africans. We are Africa. We are one. If we keep allowing ourselves to continue to treat each other on the basis of these artificial borders that were imposed on us by foreigners, we will destroy ourselves and make the foreigner very happy and very rich, while we destroy our own people and make ourselves poor. If we are not able to harness this thing, our independence will be meaningless. The independence of African states will be meaningless until we understand that we are one people and we should be working and cooperating with each other. For a nation whose chair whose president is the chair of the African Union, we expect better. We expect better.
Very well, thank you. I
hope this matter will be dealt with and that we will see sense and come together and solve our problems as a people.
Very well.
Miriam, African Union died. I don't know whether Mr. Ngandu knows. AU died with Ramaphosa, and in fact, it started dying with Assisi. Then it was handed over to Ramaphosa. Now it is completely dead.
All right. Thank you, Doctor.
Next month, we are putting on our suits and perfume to go for burial
of African Union
in Addis Ababa.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Professor Jared Runyari. If you can hear me, sir, I don't know what you make of all this. The issue between Zimbabwe and South Africa. Actually, South Africa seems to be having a lot of issues with Zimbabwe there. And why would they think that their biggest threat when it comes to the spread of COVID-19 has to be Zimbabwe, which has the least of the cases even compared to a lot of African countries?
Miriam, thank you for that good question and the topic we are just discussing. There is no doubt, Miriam, COVID-19 pandemic, it has unquestionably presented an era of challenges to the public health and the global economy around the world. After having listened carefully to our comrades and Dr. Masanga, Miriam, you can be able to agree that there are some underlying issues which have not been attended to. So COVID-19 is coming as an excuse. You never know someone hates you until he finds you in trouble. I want to relate it. You know what happened around the region in Kenya, so that the people who come from Zimbabwe can be able to tell this. See our brother Nduwetu Magufuli. Did you see how he started locking everybody else, doing all those kind of things? And COVID-19 is becoming as a manifestation. There are some of the people who have committed crimes who need to come and be tried in Zimbabwe. And when the authorities of Zimbabwe are asking for the Savior Kaswere is wanted for having committed some crimes, some acts which do not allow by the law. So what I want to say that, Miriam, you can see around the world. See where is President Trump? He took COVID-19 as a joke. So from where I sit, and when I give an in-depth analysis on what's happening around the world, the countries are using COVID-19 as an excuse so that they can be able to score their issues, which is very unfortunate because that one is not going to take Africa forward. Miriam, you see from where I sit, you know, even the vaccine has been found. Who has been given that vaccine first? Who has been given? The African people have been forgotten. Nobody's talking about like in Kenya, for example, we are talking it will come by what? By February, and the people are going to get is this and this. So this is where I am making an appeal to African leaders to ensure that they put Africa first. And to be very honest, and I've got no kind words for Comrade Ramaphosa. He has not carried himself. When you are the chairman for African Union, although it is a toothless thing, he should be able to carry himself as a leader, so that as a person who is jeering the seat of African Union at this point in time. So there's much to be done, and I'm happy that as we are having this kind of an engagement, the world is listening, that we are going on to do petty things at an expense of taking Africa forward. I submit, Miriam.
Very well, thank you so much, Professor Jared Onyari from Nairobi. Douglas Kirimi is South Africa weaponizing COVID-19 against Zimbabwe.
Thank you, Miriam. And one thing we need to understand is that this Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, has been dancing with Western powers for so long, and also Western companies, and he's been accused of so many things. So we cannot rule out a conspiracy against African countries, especially Zimbabwe, who has stood with South Africa. Remember, in South Africa, most of these people don't want to go to work. They want to wait for Zimbabweans and other immigrants to go and work for them as they are waiting for reparation of land without compensation, as they are waiting for free things. So Zimbabweans are going there and powering their industries, mines, and everything that is there. We need to say the truth. This is 2021. The people that Cyril Ramaphosa does not, that reigns today, are people who are waiting for land without compensation. They are waiting for free jobs. And also when Zimbabweans go and power the economy, the only thanks is that their president and their government is going to cross the border for Zimbabweans. And Zimbabweans are industrious people. Nobody should stop Zimbabweans from going to South Africa. These are brothers and sisters who have stood with them. Cyril Ramaphosa, as the comrades from Zimbabwe have said, they have housed Cyril Ramaphosa in their country. Ramaphosa is being ungrateful. Their people are being ungrateful. The only time we hear about the contribution of Zimbabweans in South Africa is when there is xenophobia, is when they are being killed for being contributors of their growth of the economy that the people of South Africa have refused to build. And this year we must say the truth that the people of Zimbabwe are suffering in South Africa because Cyril Ramaphosa and his people have refused to work. They are waiting for reparation of land without compensation and also for free jobs, which Zimbabweans have taken jobs in South Africa because they want to build the economy of South Africa and also do something for themselves. If Miriam, today, these people have refused to work and they have refused to do all those things in South Africa, in South Africa, South Africa will collapse tomorrow. The companies that Cyril Ramaphosa has an interest in, the mining and every company in South Africa are going to collapse because there are people, the black people in South Africa who are the majority, are waiting for that without compensation. They are waiting for non-existent things which Zimbabweans are delivering. So this issue of COVID-19 that is being used against the people of Zimbabwe and any other people, Lesotho is inside South Africa, is a landlocked country. Why are we not having issues? Why are they not having issues with Lesotho? Why are they not having issues with Namibia and any other country that is surrounding South Africa? Why is it crossing the border bridge to South Africa? Cyril Ramaphosa should stop pretending he is the chairman of the AU. He should stop pretending that the people in South Africa are willing to power his economy. If you want South Africa to collapse, let him tell you Zimbabweans who are in their millions to go back to their country because they are willing to work hard. They want to curtail them. And this is not going to help the problem in South Africa. If you want to import Kenyans, we can give them some, but Zimbabweans are people who are powering the economy in South Africa, and Cyril Ramaphosa knows very well the companies that he has been accused of stealing from and also holding interest, illegal interest in those companies are going to collapse if Zimbabweans are going to leave that country. And this is 2021. Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, the chairman of AU, the sleeping giant, who also has been sitting at the AU when people in Zimbabwe have been killed. He has not been talking. When people in Zimbabwe, when COVID comes in South Africa, it is spilling all over South Africa. It is not in Zimbabwe. The Ministry of Health in Zimbabwe has been working very hard. The president
Emerson Mnangagwa has been working very hard to contain this virus. But you, Cyril Ramaphosa, what you are doing is discriminating against the people of Zimbabwe. That is unacceptable, and you need to shape up. As the chairman of AU, which is a toothless dog, you need to shape up and also feel the pain of Zimbabweans who are building your economy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Douglas. And it's interesting you brought up Lesotho, because we know Lesotho, geographically, the way it has been situated, it's covered by South Africa and all its borders there. And funny, or I don't know, it's just a phenomenal, I don't know. Lesotho is one of the countries in Africa that recorded cases of COVID-19. I think the last, Lesotho and another country, yes, which has really perplexed me. And so far, Lesotho has about 8,044 cases, and I think their death toll has slightly surpassed 100 cases there, maybe at about 130-something cases there. So it's quite interesting. That has always perplexed me. So I think Lesotho should even be worrying so much about South Africa, seeing about what is happening there, but we're not hearing them complaining, because we understand we are in this together. We don't want to sit here and say it was a China fault, as Donald Trump was saying. Corona is here and we have to deal with it, and all of us are affected. But South Africa choosing to deal with it the way they're dealing with it, and the aggression I think they're showing towards Zimbabwe, Jevan, is it warranted? Or are we reading too much?
Miriam, if I may intervene, there is a gentleman from Zimbabwe, Javan speaks later, is a guest. A new guest on the other line near, what is his name? Galaxy Tab 2016. Mr. 2016, yes. Give him a chance. Hello. And then you, Javan, you will come in later. Let's get from them down there, if you don't mind. Sorry.
It's okay.
I have done it.
Okay. Go
no
ahead.
protocol, but sorry.
It's all right. I'm unable to see everybody from here. So
yeah,
it's fine.
My screen is very big.
Well, I'm projecting all of you from here. So go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yeah, we hear you.
And please tell us your name.
All right, then. My name is Simon Sevenzai. I'm from Zimbabwe. So I've just joined in your esteemed panel. I'm going to have a very different view from what everybody else has been talking about.
Go ahead.
We
cannot, Simon, excuse me for just 1 second. We cannot see your face. Can you please fix your headroom, and then we need to see you.
I don't know what happened here. Let me just
hold your, please, more. All right, I think that's okay. That's okay. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Okay. Right. I'm gonna look at it in a very different way. I think you need to look at the numbers in South Africa, the economic numbers. The economic numbers indicate South Africa's economy contracted by 51% last year. And then there was a report on corruption of over 500 billion, which was misused by the South African economy. So what they did here when they closed the border, this was a distraction from their economic fallout. South Africa is in a deep recession, and they were playing politics. They know that it's easier to focus on Zimbabwe because of the xenophobic tendencies of the South Africans. So the president of South Africa had to play a game, which was a focus on the Zimbabweans on the border, which was a few Zimbabweans. And most of those Zimbabweans had documents to go back to South Africa. So if you can tell, at the end, after a few days, they all allowed all of them in. So this was just a smokescreen of an economic fallout. If you follow the numbers, they'll tell you a very big story. South Africa is in a big recession. Ramaphosa is failing as a president. The white guys who own the economy are playing games around him, and his only blame he could blame, his only excuse was to sort of push the issue about Zimbabwean immigrants coming into South Africa. So this is about economics. It's nothing about Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, ANC and ZANU-PF are brothers. They'll be brothers for a long time. And I think the Zimbabwean government actually knew what was going on. So I think it's something, I think we need to look at it deeper, why our people are failing, why is South Africa failing as an economic powerhouse. They are saying it's the second largest economy in Africa, but it's having a 51% recession. If you talk of 51% contraction in Europe, there'll be riots. There'll be riots. That's a massive, massive economic downturn. So if you follow those numbers, they'll tell you.
What you're saying is that COVID-19 is just used as a camouflage, but really that is not the main issue there.
Yes, it's not.
Let's pick the topic from there. It is a camouflage. They allowed the Zimbabweans to go back, as Kirimi said, because if they had stayed, nobody would work. And Miriam, since all of us are Africans here, can I bring a bombshell here? One bombshell here is South Africans are very lazy.
That's true.
Yes.
It is in public domain, Dr. Masanga.
When shall we tell each other the truth?
That's not true. You generalize the whole situation of South Africans.
No, if South Africa, if there's a South African on the panel, come and challenge me. And I believe Anzania Masiro is from there. Come out. You sleep.
I don't think we can blanket.
Go out to work. When you see Somalis creating shops, wait first. When you see Somalis, I've been waiting for these South Africans. When you see Somalis waiting, putting their shops, corner shops, you got to ban them. They drink up to 2 a.m., go and sleep up to 1 a.m. South Africans are very lazy. The truth, that is, tell you the truth. And I've studied all African systems of anthropology. You challenge me. I'll tell you. They are not hardworking people. They only tell you there is a tender. Oh, Shaman, Mudara, bring the tender, bring the documents. They take you to a hotel. That's the only job they know. They take you to a hotel, a big hotel, hire you a hotel, then later on swindle you. Even if the money is gone. When you want to go to their country, and let me finish my anger here. I've been watching people talking slowly on this. This is a platform to tell Africans the truth. You want to go to South Africa, you have to carry a land title. You seek for a stupid visa. Stupid visa. When we gave them visas free, my country, Uganda, gave them visas free. They had no passports. They have forgotten after Mandela died since 1994. They have forgotten. We suffered for them. We paid the tax for them to be liberated. They are very bad people. Any of you try to go to the South African embassy and try to apply for a visa, go to this embassy. Now, Miriam, you are in Nairobi. You go near the embassy and say, you want to go to South Africa. In the name of God, they will tell you to go and bring your dead father's birth certificate. Where do I get my father's birth certificate? Rubbish. Rubbish. Africa has to wake up. And we are not going to sit here and waste time not condemning such behavior. Xenophobia. They went to kill who? How many whites did they kill? How many whites did they kill? Do you know why they fear us Ugandans? Do you know why they fear? They never touched any Ugandan. We are very bad. We gave them home to live, to fight apartheid. They should not play with us. Some of them have never returned our passports. So, if we Africans on this show, let's not hide. Because the things that we talk here build Africa. And if you hide now, you will not be talking on a Muzungu television what we are talking. We better tell our fellow South Africans that they are lazy, they drink too much, they know Mr. Know anything, everything. Have you ever been to South Africa that you are called, welcome to Africa? I have been told one day in a hotel Intercontinental at the airport. Someone told me, my brother, welcome to Africa. I left the food. I went upstairs and I rang him. I told him, never see me in your life again. Because he says, I have come from Nairobi. Nairobi is not Africa. It's considered some small You know, they consider us. Did you know why xenophobia happens? They consider Nigerians animals. Look at Nigerians. Look at Somali. Go to Cape Town. Any Somali in Cape Town has a shop, a small shop, either selling a telephone spare parts, earning a living, getting 20, 50, 200 rands to feed the family. For them, they come and abandon those shops. So we must condemn some behavior. If African Union and Pan-Africanism is going to grow, what generation are we living in forward when Ramaphosa works with Bill Gates to create chaos?
Yes, we have to condemn. What did I do?
Yeah, take it from there. I can see Mr. Tanzania Mosiro from South Africa. Come on, bring it on. It is fire. Come on. Come understand why you hate us, we black people. And we give you asylum. We give you comfort.
Let me allow me with you all. We are not hating anyone in South Africa.
You hate us.
I will speak.
Why you kill us?
All right. Let's just have some. Go ahead.
We are trying to build Africa. We should not isolate South Africa.
Show your face.
You can't do that.
We give you free entry. We give you free visa. When you come to Kenya, Uganda, we give you free visa. When we go to your stupid embassy, to stupid embassies, which are not yours, you never even built one. You never built one.
That's why you are fueling this violence. You're fueling the violence by the name that you
I have found you.
Excuse me, Miss Tanzania.
You killed blacks. You kill black people. Matsanga will never support you.
His signal is not very good. I don't know if he can do anything about
Even
it.
if that is why the signal has failed. Even if he is good, I want him to come and challenge me. They kill people. They beat up people. They ban blacks. What type of animals are these?
So tell me something. Tell me something. As you saying and you are insinuating that you want me to challenge you. You are saying you want me to challenge you, and you are saying we are killing people. How many people have I killed? How many?
All right.
You have even the gist.
Be more intelligent to control anger.
All right.
Control your anger so that we can engage.
Okay,
I am not annoyed, but I am very, very disturbed by your behavior of slaughtering blacks.
But not every South African kills people. Just
yes,
a few.
I am not saying all of them.
Not every South African. Yes, you are right, my sister. It's not every South African that is involved in a xenophobic attack. It's not all of us. And Mr. David is attacking me. The only South Africans in this platform. He is attacking me.
Now I've cooled it down.
Argument to build Africa, not destroy.
Mr. Tanzania, your signal is not very good. If you can,
Tanzania, I've cooled it down now.
So that
I've left the space for you.
We are able to hear what you have to say, but also we are.
Miriam,
go ahead, Professor.
What I'm saying.
What
I'm saying as South African.
Yes.
Your signal is not good, Mr. Tanzania. So if you can find a proper place where you can...
I'm not going to speak.
Your sound is not good.
But I've told you my peace of mind, so you can bury me very nicely.
Okay.
Like you can bury me like Nyerere, Nkrumah, and Mugabe would tell you. You are very bad people.
Some of you.
Not all of us.
Some of you. All right.
You generalize that all South Africans are bad. They are good people in South Africa. Listen, my brother.
Okay, when you come to our country, also when you reach our border, know that we have stomached a lot. Time has come to, you go to, Miriam.
Are you going to allow me to say something, or you will keep on pushing words into my mouth?
I've kept quiet.
Can I ask you something? Isn't there any bad people in Uganda?
Yes, there are very many. But we
Aren't
don't.
there bad people in Uganda?
They are there. And we give Somalis.
They are there. They don't have a right. Listen. I'm talking. Right to say that South Africans, because it's not all South Africans. You can't generalize. That's the consequence to measure the life.
So that it pains you so much.
You can't measure all South Africans. One South African. You can't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you can do?
Yes, you can. What?
Tell your president to change behavior.
Do you know what? The president to change behavior. Also tell Magufuli to change their behavior. Museveni has been in charge of Uganda since 1986.
Can we get?
And now you say Museveni is a good person.
Excuse me. Can we just come back to our topic? Because now we're going way off. And we need to find
who is supporting Museveni? Ramaphosa has not denounced Museveni. I am not Museveni's supporter.
Yes,
brother.
And as a South African, what Ramaphosa is doing is not good. He's supposed to be at the front of the human rights violation in Zimbabwe, in Uganda, everywhere in African corner. Those people who are doing that.
All right, I think
regimes in Africa.
Simon, please, if we start counter accusations like that, we are not going to go anywhere with this conversation. So we have to have a constructive conversation here. So let's just.
The Zimbabweans are here.
Yes, that's what we want. The constructive.
You killed Nigerians. You killed Cameroonians. You killed Mozambicans. You killed Kenyans. You are bad people. So you can't accuse me.
Sorry.
When was the last time you were in South Africa?
Go ahead.
When was the last time you were in South Africa, Mr. David?
It's too cheap for me to come.
Sorry, Miriam. Can I say something?
It's too cheap.
Can I say something, good people?
No, it's not basically about the money. That's the status quo in South Africa, especially the CBD.
Tanzania.
How that have been hijacked by Nigerians and
can we have some order? All right, Azania, thank you. Please, we have so many other people.
Thank you. Let's allow another speakers to have words.
Thank you so much. I'll come back to you, Azania.
Organize your internet. We want to hear you.
All right. Yes. Thank you so much, and I'll come back to you, Anzania. And if you can get a better location so that we can have some clear signal there, that will be nice. But thank you so much. Now, before Madam Pongi you come in, we've had somebody on the panel who has not said anything. Javan from Kenya, if you can, and then Madam Pongi can come in. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Miriam. And the conversation is getting heated up, and things are not cool anymore.
Please don't follow.
But one thing that we must agree, Miriam, we had xenophobic killings where the black South Africans termed the other blacks from other countries as people who are denying them opportunities, as people who are denying them employment opportunities. Because they have they say that these people from other countries, the blacks, have gone there and they have taken all the space for works. And we wonder, when these people, the blacks who are coming to take these places of work, where were the black South Africans not working in those places? Therefore, this brings all this debate to a conclusion that we as Africans, we should not restrict ourselves from working in a particular country, because we are one people. And there are some Africans who are hardworking. When you come to Kenya, we are hardworking. That is why our brothers in Tanzania, they have an envy when you go to their country. They restrict us from opening business. They restrict us to work, because to them, they are quite reluctant and they are not hardworking as Kenyans are. And that is the same with Zimbabwe and South Africans. Therefore, they should not blame the COVID-19. They are only using COVID-19 as a scapegoat for the underlying issues that have been affecting them. And we know South Africa has an issue when it comes to their health system. When it comes to matter of HIV and AIDS, they record the highest figures in Africa. And when the COVID-19 came, they failed to put in protocols that could have curbed the spread of the COVID-19 in the country, because it is spread in that country like wildfire. Therefore, the government of the day has failed to deliver on its services. And I think that is why we had a motion with the ANC party leaders on how they can overthrow the leadership of Cyril Ramaphosa from the leadership because he is failing. And that is the same thing they did to Jacob Zuma. Therefore, South Africa on its own, they have a problem. You know, they overrated themselves as the economic hub in the Africa. But things are turning out that other Africans have started to see who they are. They have started to see the true character. They camouflaged to be the best. But things are turning out to be opposite. You know, in Zimbabwe now, they have a democratic space under the new leadership. Maybe that is what it's worrying them. You know, when Mugabe was there was an issue. But with the new leadership, things are starting opening up. You know, they must be envy in one way or the other when their smaller brother is taking up shape, is taking up in the shape in Africa and talking issues. We have seen the president of Zimbabwe coming out to condemn some of the mishappenings that happen in the African continent, even when things are violated in Uganda. He speaks up, but Cyril Ramaphosa is not speaking up as the chair of African Union. He needs to condemn bad leadership in other countries, but he can't do that when he himself is sitting on a platform where he is not exercising a good leadership, where economic state of South Africa is failing under his leadership. Therefore, it's a matter, it's an all-out discussion that we must look into. But people should not use COVID-19 as a scapegoat, as a means, because we know the rate of infection in Zimbabwe is quite low. South Africa remains the highly infected country in Africa because they failed to put in measures. They thought COVID-19 is a joke, but the reality has hit them hard. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Evan, and thank you for being very patient. Almost 2 hours.
Miriam had a point to say before.
And just, Madam Bongi wanted to say something, but before you all come in, there's something
Miriam,
that
you are not seeing. Miriam, you are not seeing two other people.
Yes, before these two other people. Yes.
There is Mr. Mahachi.
Yes.
Mahachi.
Before Mr. Mahachi, Doctor, before Mr. Mahachi before he comes in, you'll cue him. There's something that Simon brought up, and that is the problematic economic problems, the serious economic problems that South Africa right now is going through, and what now they're using to hurt the Zimbabweans, because that I can imagine how much discomfort that have caused to the Zimbabweans who work and live in South Africa. But they just what do you call them? They're just suffering, but the main problem is the economic situation in Zimbabwe. And Jevan, you brought up the issue of the no confidence vote that President Cyril Ramaphosa is supposed to be facing. There have been talks about that since November, but that is pegged on apparently he received some election funding from the the Bosasa company, and it's being investigated, and also the economic problems there in South Africa. So can they just deal with that without hurting other nationalities? And I know the issue of xenophobia has come up, and when it happened last year, I think we talked about it, and we've been talking about it, and I think South Africans, they did how to solve that issue, because it's much deeper than just hating other Africans. And so, Doctor, you said there's somebody else who is there.
Yes, he's called Mr. Mahachi R. Please take your position.
Mr. Mahachi R. What do you make of these problems between South Africa and Zimbabwe? Okay, who else is there? Saxon's network is really bad, so I don't know if he's fixed it.
Then you can go back to Professor Onyali.
Saxon, go ahead. Go ahead. Since you're here, try and see if it's better today.
Most of we were network challenge here in Harare.
Oh.
I think that's almost the guys are not here.
Go ahead, Saxon. We can hear you.
We can hear you very well now.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Anzania, are you ready?
Most of the problems that we had with South Africa is
Saxon, sorry.
controlled mostly the economy by whites.
Saxon, sorry, it's not very good. So maybe I don't know what you can do about it. But once it's better, we shall come to you. Maybe now we need to bring.
So these whites will do whatever they can to destabilize Zimbabwe because they are pushing the agenda for the West. Yes.
Okay. All right. Your signal is really not very good. So we're having a problem with the reception over here. So, yeah. But sorry about that. But once you're able to
cross over, Miriam, it's okay. You can cross over.
All right. So Mr. Nzania, you had a lot to say. I'll give you a minute or so. But on the issue, can we stay on the issue between South Africa and Zimbabwe? Let's not deviate too much. We might lose the focus.
Tanzania. My brother from Tanzania, are you there? Or have we hit you so hard and you have disappeared? Thank you very much, Miriam. Back to the panel. You will come.
Dr. Matsanga, how are you this
Madam
morning?
Bongi has something to say. Go ahead.
I am okay. I'm okay, Madam Bob. Okay, you can't kill people and then come to pretend here that we are very good people.
But doctor, not all of them.
Doctor, be fair on our brother. Can I say something, Miriam? To be honest, Dr. Matsanga, this is how I see it. You know, the South African thing, again, if we really want to dig deep, it's not about everybody. It's not about everybody. You find there are some very good South Africans. I know because you are very angry. I'm angry as well with the way we treat each other as Africans. Instead of looking after each other, we tend to have some ways of actually denigrating one another and also pulling down each other. And sometimes like harming and or hurting or killing each other. But I'm saying for South Africa, this has been going on, the xenophobic attacks. They're nothing to be condoned at any stage or point. But Dr. Matsanga, if we are going to go by them, those people who are showing such hooliganism, then obviously we are not different from them. Let us give our brother who is coming to us, perhaps he was going to shed some light to say something that perhaps will kind of shift our perception, even though we are not going to accept anything in a positive manner to the effect of the killings. I think let us be kind to him. He is our brother. He has come here because he is one of us.
Agreed. Mama Zumba agreed.
May I say something, Miriam?
The platform is there.
But Madam Bongi was concluding her thoughts. After that, I think Professor wanted to say something, and then you can come in. Madam Bongi, are you done?
Yeah, she's done.
All right, thank you, Professor, and then we can have.
And I can see my sister Bongi wants to be a little bit the diplomatic and the market.
In the between.
Yes.
And she wants to appear nice. Miriam, for those of us who have been in the struggle and who believe in Pan-Africanism, the anger which you see in Dr. Matsanga in mind is worse. Simply because we have struggled to liberate Africa. Even what we are doing at the moment, we are sending signals to the African leaders that you are heading Africa down. Then our brother comes to a debate here where we are supposed to speak the truth, and you start saying, "Oh, this is happening." Douglas raised very fundamental issues. Why are they not having issues with Namibia? Why are they not having issues with the Lesotho? Why are they not having issues with Swaziland? And why are they having issues with Zimbabwe? And I did say this. I hope he was listening to me. There are underlying issues. Someone may be hating you, but he doesn't have an opportunity to hit you. So they are using COVID-19 as an excuse. Remember when you see that one, Miriam, I found myself in the struggle to ensure that we dismantle habitat in South Africa. Our countries we were paying taxes. We gave them avenues to train. And then, Miriam, you kill an African and we get an opportunity like this, we don't tell you. Then my sister Bongi, you are saying that, oh, they are good brothers. They are not good brothers. Have you ever seen those good brothers and sisters standing, telling their brothers what you are doing is bad?
Some did, Professor. Some
have you ever seen any coming forward and saying, oh, these extreme bad elements, what you are doing is bad? So what we want to do to build a united Africa, Miriam,
yes,
we have to tell ourselves the truth as it is. The people of South Africa, they are using COVID-19 as an excuse to have some issues to settle with the people of Zimbabwe. I have been to South Africa. We are not speaking out what we don't know. They are singing the freedom and reparation songs up to now.
Because they're still oppressed.
They're singing up to now.
Because they're still under apartheid.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
Mama Shumba. Leave this to be a free debate. Mama Shumba.
Yes.
Are you in Zimbabwe still singing?
It is my hard time.
Are you under apartheid? Are you under apartheid?
Can I say something?
Okay.
Can I say something?
Before you come in, Professor was finishing, and then after Professor, I'd like Mr. Ngandi to come in.
You are not under apartheid in Zimbabwe.
All right.
You have stood firm against sanctions. Do you go on killing Africans in Zimbabwe? Don't tell me anything else. In fact, don't annoy me more. I hate anyone of violence. I hate violence. I hate anyone, an African killing another African. Don't condone, don't come here and tell me I should keep quiet. At the age of 65, I'm going to the grave. And the people are going to kill other Africans. Surely.
Can I ask a question there before we go? Before we go to the next question, can I ask a question? Dr. Matanga, can I ask, Madam Miriam, allow me to just say something. I know this can actually begin a new debate, maybe at some point. Right, the behavior that we see in South Africa.
All right, we seem to have had a problem there.
Miriam, can I say something?
Go ahead, please.
Yes. Can I speak?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
you've been waiting.
Mama,
go ahead.
You and me, we know each other. Hold the fire.
All right.
Let's get to Mr. Ngandi.
Mr. Ngandi, go
I think that one of the things that we seem to forget about Zimbabwe and South Africa is that the majority of the land, the bulk of the land in South Africa is owned by white people in South Africa.
Oh, yes.
Zimbabwe was in that situation before.
Yes.
Where 85% of all arable and productive land was in white hands in Zimbabwe.
Been manipulated.
Zimbabwe then took land from the white people through the land reform program that was undertaken in Zimbabwe since 2000. There is a lot of restiveness in South Africa at the moment about land ownership. And a lot of South Africans are beginning to desire and to demand that land be returned to them. The whites who own the land in South Africa, a lot of them have vested interest within the ANC. And they have been funding ANC. They have been funding ANC leaders. And therefore, the South African leadership finds itself at a crossroads where they have a mandate as a government to make sure that their people are truly liberated and own their land. And yet, the white people that have been funding some of their operations are themselves the people that pull chains. Therefore, the ANC leadership is like puppets on a chain. They are controlled by white monopoly capital that has been funding a lot of them for a long time. This puts the problem squarely where Zimbabwe is a role model of what should happen in independent African states. And there is a lot of pressure now to try and stop South Africans doing exactly the same thing that Zimbabwe went through. And what better way than to create chaos between Zimbabwe and South Africa so that the white continue to own the land and threaten the South African economy on the grounds that if they do what Zimbabwe did, then they will be slapped with international sanctions just like Zimbabwe has been.
Yes.
That is where I think lies the majority of our problem. Thank you.
Very interesting perspective there. Yes,
May,
Doctor.
may I chip in? I've been quiet for a
I
long
even
period.
forgot you're here. Go ahead. Mr. Maganza, go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. My observation is that I once worked in South Africa for a considerable period of time, and I was in the education sector. So it means I had the chance to study, because the first xenophobic attacks in 2008 took place when I was there. And then the root cause, as I noted, was that their education system actually made them to know only about South Africa, and most of them never knew that there are other countries rather than South Africa.
Yes.
It goes back to what Dr. Matsanga has said before, that he was told that welcome to Africa. So according to South African blacks in particular, they think or still thought that they were the only country which is in Africa and they made Africa. And there was no any other Africa other than South Africa. Their education did not open them, their mentality, their eyes to the world. It actually hoodwinked them to believe that they were the only blacks. They knew that there were the various tribal groups, the Zulu, the Xhosa, the Venda, you name it. And some even still think that Limpopo is not South Africa, it is part of Zimbabwe. Until today, we are talking of 20 plus years after them attaining independence. Meaning to say that their education hasn't opened them to understand what the world is, and they are also part of the global village. If they do understand that, which means that is when they will be able to understand that we are not the only Africans who are, or the only blacks who are here on the planet Earth, but there are many other blacks who share Africa with them as a continent. Correct. And we have got to see each other as brother and sister. But unfortunately, that is what they lacked for all these years they've been under apartheid. And even in the New South Africa, they have still not been opened up to them. Because I noted when I was in the system that it is still quiet on that. And so, which means it has led people not to even understand. That is why you find out that there's xenophobia. And so every mistake which happens by their government or which their government makes, they blame it on the foreigners, as if the foreigners are the ones who run their country or who lead their country, while the mistakes are being made by their leaders. And then they take their anger on the wrong people, who happens to be the foreigners, which is really unfair on people, foreign nationals who come and share their skills, and so that at least they help develop that country. There might be other reasons which might have people to migrate from their countries to South Africa, but all what is needed is cohabitation. Right. South Africa has got great weaknesses. It has got to amend its entire system so that at least it is in tandem with the dictates of the African continent, and then so that it is seen as part of Africa, not as part of Europe. Their curriculum is American-centered, as far as I noted. Meaning to say they admire what more which is foreign rather than what is African. So which means that identity they're supposed to have is still lacking. That African identity, they still do not understand it. They still see them as the only African race in Africa.
Now, Miriam, my two brothers, my brother and the sister Bongi, all of us live in Britain. Some of us, when we arrived in Britain, Jamaicans used to beat us more. Yeah. We are victims. I'm a victim. That's why I'm telling you what Maganza is saying is true. If you are caught by a Jamaican policeman in Britain, and Mr. Gandhi is here, the black policeman in Britain, and Mongi, I don't know whether you drive in London.
Yeah,
if you
I
are
do.
caught by a black policeman, be it Nigeria or Jamaican or West Indian, and a white man will come and say, wait, you have just, Chairman, you have just passed this traffic light. Next time, don't do this. But just fall in the hands of a Jamaican policeman who's looking for a rank here. He even asks you, when did you come to this country? As if this country, London, is his. He has forgotten he was shipped as a slave to come back. Some of us have fought racism. The groups that Bongi is enjoying there. I am one of the most formidable groups in 1987. I was in that city where you go and rent a house in Surrey. A man next door comes to ask your children, where does your daddy work? Where does he get money to buy these cars?
Yeah.
It is the same sense that the South African, and Magaza is correct. The South Africans still think anything that you do there, if you are black, you are either a drug dealer or you have come like my Somali friends. They are terrorists. They are labeled. And the Somalis have got shops in Cape Town. You saw how many Somalis were killed in Cape Town. Very, very progressive people. Somali gave South Africans passports. Siad Barre gave Zuma a passport. And several other South Africans. Uganda, Kenya, we gave them passports. Some of them have our passports and the names. When we reach there. Another point why I'm very bitter, and I agree with Magaza and Misangando and the gentleman here. Look, it is a matter of economic problems that are facing on the land. Zimbabwe has liberated itself. You can go to Jerusalem, return to Damascus, go to Angel Gabriel, you will never revert the land to the hands of 4,000 commercial farmers.
However messed up the plan is right now, but they were able to do that nevertheless.
Yes, let me tell you, they can be compensated, but land will never revert. That is one thing, Zimbabwe, I applaud you. May the soul of President Mugabe rest in peace. He liberated that country, removed the land, delivered it in a black man. 14 million, 18 million blacks were suffering at the hands of 4,000, 4,000 commercial farmers. Today, South Africa looks at Ramaphosa cannot agree with Ngando that he can't deliver this land. People want to jump on the land. So where do you take your pressure? Take it on Zimbabwe. Say these Zimbabweans should not come here. The port, Miriam, the port is called Base Bridge. Base Bridge. That's the border point where every operation goes on. In my nutshell, I don't hate South Africans, but I expose their bad behavior of violence. And the government of Zuma did not come out. If Miss Tanzania can tell me they sentenced 10 people for 30 years for killing, burning people with tires, show me one prisoner. Show me. This whole thing was washed under the carpet. Mozambicans are the most targeted people. We are talking about Mozambique. In fact, a Kenyan, a Ugandan like me can survive in South Africa. They like Ugandans. I don't know why you like us. But if you call yourself Kenyan, Mozambican, woo, the first thing is if you are in Durban, you will go to Indian Ocean. At night, and they come during the daytime, they tell you we are beating you up. Is this a country that we are talking about Pan-Africanism? Is this a country that you want to tell me we should keep quiet and we don't criticize? Then why are we criticizing Trump when he calls us we are shithole? Where is Trump? Is there a difference between Trump and the xenophobia guys who kill people?
No difference.
If Trump found, Trump before he left, one day before he left White House, Trump loaded Kenyans on a plane, Ethiopians on a plane,
Somalis.
and the Somalis dumped them at Jomo Kenyatta Airport. William, Go there now. I am not in there, but go. You ring. You will find them there.
Yeah,
Kenya is going to take them to the camp.
Yes.
And two, I want to thank Zimbabwe and Tanzania. Yesterday, Tanzanian government allowed all Ethiopians who were in Tanzania to walk free. Did you hear that? That's the Africa we are looking for. That's why we bring this topic. That's why we are putting this platform. We should change our behavior. We used to go to Dubai without a visa. My Ugandan people took their bodies there, started selling their bodies. We have been visaed. Now you think I only criticize South Africa. My Ugandan ladies went there with their miniskirts. We are given a visa. We used to go to fly in Dubai. Like now I'm tired here in London. You just get in a plane and end up Dubai. No visa. Dubai people put a visa on us. Nigerians used to fly. Miss Tanzania, switch on your microphone.
I would like him to come.
If you are ready to talk, then we can give you to talk. But I'm ready to listen. Nigerians, we used to go to Dubai without any problem. And guess what happened? Nigerians started defrauding Dubai businessmen. When you reach Dubai airport, you are all Africans on this channel, on this show. You are ashamed. When they segregate Nigerians, go there. The rest of Africa, you walk this side. Have you ever been to Dubai airport with a Nigerian on a flight? You'll be ashamed. So why should we carry this bad behavior and pretend here that it is not all us South Africans? There are some who are good. One bad animal, one bad finger owns the other. Until the government comes to clarify. Let them clarify. Have I not told you Ugandan ladies, they went to Dubai and of course that's a problem. The President Museveni came out and said, from now onwards, if you go to Dubai, you must wear buibui. Because there the people wear buibui. If you want to do your trade, you can go and do it quietly with buibui. But don't do it with a miniskirt. So I submit, Miriam, that our behavior, the behavior of South African government, the land issue, the economic impasse, as the panel has said, is the main cause why South Africa is apprehensive. The stability in Zimbabwe, the few numbers in Zimbabwe hospitals, and I must congratulate the government of Zimbabwe, despite the fact that they don't have even medicine. Some of the essentials, America has put sanctions on them. The government of Zimbabwe has done so well. No doctors, no money, but they have managed the COVID-19 to a level. Continue having SOPs. Don't think this disease is not there.
All right.
Lastly, Ramaphosa, that lame duck of African Union, let him lame duck forever. He is a lame duck who has led us down. He's a lame duck who cannot condemn violence. He's a lame duck who's selling all these medicines on behalf of multinational agencies. He is a lame duck who has failed African Union. A president, a chairman of African Union, going to wear a suit to go to Addis Ababa with South African airline, jet. Useless. Useless. They have left South Africa. They have left AU to the hands of imperial powers to manipulate them. Can somebody tell me? I don't want to bring this subject. Can somebody tell me what South African troops are doing in the Central African Republic, apart from carrying diamonds every morning for Paramount Group? They think we don't know. I will expose them. I've got the data now. Do you know what the Paramount Group is? Who heads the Paramount Group? Anywhere Tanzania, you come here, you tell me, try me. Change your visa regime. Don't punish Africans. Every African, Uhuru Kenyatta has opened the door. Boss, is there any Zimbabwean who comes in Zimbabwe and refuses to enter Nairobi? If you have a Zimbabwean passport in Nairobi, you enter as if you are going for a wedding. A very nice wedding. You will not miss your girlfriend whom you have put in a hotel X. But you try to go to South Africa, they will even, if you have made a prior arrangement with your small calico or a concubine on side dishes, those who want to travel, you will miss the girl because they will stop you at the immigration, asking you questions that which Africa did you come from? Surely, and you want us to keep quiet. Keep quiet. Not on this. Not when I'm alive. Not when I'm alive.
All right. Doctor, I'd like to get the final...
I tell you frankly, I don't care. Ramaphosa's son has married from our country. And Ramaphosa, they have not...
Ramaphosa's wife is a sister.
Married from Uganda.
Ramaphosa's wife is sister to Mosepe, one of the richest guys in South Africa.
No, the son married.
The son is married.
From our kids.
Okay,
but
all right.
You see, because they have married for convenience, the chairman of AU cannot even...
They're married for love, doctor. We don't know if it's for convenient. I'd like to get everybody's last comments. Yes.
Thank you, Bonki.
So I'll start with Zania. Azania, go ahead.
Hi.
Tanzania is just...
Hello?
Yes. Go ahead.
Are you able to speak now?
Your last comments, and please make it short.
Yeah. I don't know whether my signal is good or what now.
It's much better now.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, it's good. You know what? Some of the points highlighted in this webinar are real, and they are living. Even apartheid is still alive in South Africa.
Yeah.
Why I'm saying this? You can say you have abolished apartheid, but the current regime of ANC, they are the ones who are perpetuating that hangover of apartheid. Mm-hmm. Same thing. We can come to the point of a land, but without coming to the point who created these policies that South Africa is now living on top of. Mm-hmm. For instance, we can talk the way of entering the country, this visa, that and that. But we should know that the South African Constitution is still in an amendment to favor the black majority in South Africa. The ANC regime caused South Africans a lot of frustration and depression. And at some point, South Africans took this depression and stresses out from their own brothers in African continent, like Zimbabweans and others, neighboring countries. I'm not defending South Africa and saying South Africa is a good country. But what I'm saying, there are good people in South Africa and there are bad people in South Africa. Same thing in Uganda. You can attest to that, Mr. David. Same thing in Uganda. There are good, there are bad people. Some of us, like me, I've been condemning these brothers who have been doing this as xenophobic thing to the point that some wanted to attack me. Because I'm standing up for Pan-Africanism. Because we should build one Africa, not separating South Africa from African continent. Mm-hmm. South Africa is Africa. Whether you are from Soweto, Mlazi, you are an African. Mm-hmm. So one thing that we should be doing, we should bring some constructive conversations without accusations. without accusing certain states how they are doing. Instead, if we see that South Africa is having a problem, we know the problem is with you. Mr. Ramaphosa is the chair of AU, but he is quiet. He doesn't condemn some of atrocities that are happening within the continent. He is quiet. That person wasn't supposed to be the chair of the AU. But because we know the hand that feeds you can control you, ANC is controlled somewhere by imperial powers. Same thing as ZANU-PF. So these liberational movements that we have been talking about have turned against the people they were fighting to liberate. And they became the colonizers of the people and the imperialists.
Okay, Mr. Nzania.
They are bringing the people miseries.
My brother, I agree with you now.
Thank you. So,
Yes.
revolution is eating its own children. That's what you're saying.
Yes. You
All right,
know,
thank you.
you know what, Mr. David, you can't see a point if you are arguing with emotion.
I will say it, but I was very angry with you. If some African,
Okay.
I'm
Tanzania-
sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry, brother.
All right.
I'm angry because South Africans, some of them,
Some
they
of
were
them.
different
Some of
before.
them is the
But
right
now
word.
you have explained.
Some
I
like it.
All right. Thank you so
I
much,
think the way
Ms.
put it now,
Tanzania.
some
Point
of
taken.
South Africans.
Yes. Point
All-
taken. Point taken. Thank you so much for your contribution on the show today. I'll go to Mr. Manganza. Your last, words on today's show.
Right. Thank you so much, Miriam. My last take on this one is that there is need. Okay, there is need for South Africa and Zimbabwe, if not to start against a war, and him, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, to make sure that he plays an active role in making sure that at least he comments and gives direction to what is going to take place in the African Union. And also this tiff between Zimbabwe and South Africa has to come to an end. South Africa has to face the reality. It has got to face the challenges which it is having at the moment, the economic, social, and economic. Because what we know in South Africa, the truth is that they have political emancipation, but they don't have the economic emancipation. So on the economic front,
Yes.
that is one thing they've got to face, because the remnants of apartheid are still there and rife. And they are in control of the entire system. Any system, there's what we call the African African Forum. They've got to take government any decision which it makes, they take it to court. And then the courts are always side with the African Forum, meaning to say that they control the entire system and the ANC has no way to that. So which means Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa and this ANC have got to and make sure that they are African and see to it that they've got to work with Africa as a whole.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor Jared
We
Onyari.
agreed, didn't we?
Your conclusion.
And you never turned up. I called you. You never
Mr.
picked my phone.
Yes, Professor.
These are my parting shot.
I told you that same
Go ahead.
This was a great topic. We have got no apologies to make because we speak the truth as it is. And Africa has got work to be done. We can't run away from it. We have to midwife. We stood for the reparation of Africa. Although none of our comrades keep on talking about Western Sahara. Western Sahara is the last colony in Africa. We must put our efforts together and start to talk about the reparation of that country. Whether in Kenya, whether in Tanzania, Uganda, or in South Africa, if our leaders are trying to say something which is not in conformity with Pan-Africanism, we should be able to rise up and Miriam and say no. And this idea of us saying that they are good people and bad people, if there's one charcoal which is with fire, it will burn the whole sack of charcoal. So we want to see these good people in South Africa. I want to see these good people in Zimbabwe. I want to see this good in Kenya and Uganda rising up and speaking the issues. When African people are being killed in South Africa, we want to see those people rising up and making noise and saying, brothers, you cannot do this one to an African. I'm hearing saying that the whites are still controlling the people of South Africa. I give a recommendation. What will liberate South African people? Miriam is education. Number 2 is education. Number 3 is education. Don't go for that land. Don't go for everything else. If you get the education, these jobs which is being taken by Zimbabweans, by Kenyans, by Somalis, by Nigerians, you will take them. Let me tell you, those African people get out of South Africa, South Africa will collapse. So what I want to say, Dr. Masanga, thank you for giving us a forum just like this to be able to share ideas. We are not after condemning anybody, but we are after speaking the truth. Because if we speak the truth, it shall set us free. I submit.
Very well said, Professor Jared Onyari. Education system in South Africa is very flawed. It's right from apartheid. The blacks had their own basic education, and the best one was given to the white people. I don't know if that has been rectified yet. But Douglas Kirimi, your last thoughts.
Thank you, Miriam, and thank you for this opportunity to give my last comments on this. Dear AU Chairman, President Matamela Ramaphosa, you have failed the African Union, you have failed Africa, you have failed Zimbabwe, who is your brother, a country that housed you when you were not a president, and also a country that has been able to accommodate other Zimbabwean, South Africans, and also a country that has been able to do so much for your country, and including the companies that have been able to give you money, campaign donations in a corruption case that you are being investigated in. These are people who have fueled the economy of South Africa. These are the people that have been able to grow the economy of South Africa. Today, your country faces a recession. Mr. President, because the workforce in South Africa is majority Zimbabweans who are working to fuel your economy. People in Zimbabwe are crying today. People in Ethiopia are crying in Tigray. Mr. President, you're not speaking in Mali, people are crying. In Uganda, people are crying who are also your in-laws. People are crying all over. In Somalia, people are crying. Mr. AU Chairman, you're not speaking. This, as I conclude on this very 1 minute note to you, is that Mr. President, you need to act or resign. South Africans are also tired with you. South Africans are crying. South Africans are dying of COVID-19, Mr. President. You are the EU president and also the president of South Africa. Your party ANC, which has defranchised the people of South Africa, are tired with you. They have a motion of no confidence against your leadership. People are telling you, people of goodwill across Africa are tired with your leadership. Mr. President, it's the high time you put value to Africa, to African souls, and also the people of South Africa, and also the people of Zimbabwe. It's the high time you act, and thank you, Mr. President. If you don't act, the world is going to act against you.
Okay. Hopefully not the same way they act against others. So thank you so much, Madam Bongi. Your last thoughts. All right. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Miriam. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, my signal was playing up at some point. Yeah, thank you so much. It was quite a fruitful discussion today. Unfortunately, some of the things they raised quite a lot of emotions, and obviously we couldn't go through this COVID-19 pandemic, which has been obviously used as a scapegoat by those people who have got agendas, especially between South Africa and Zimbabwe. And in my opinion, I think they are targeting Zimbabweans more than any other African country. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm being fatalistic and predeterministic, something will pop up and we'll see God fighting for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Bongi. She's a teacher, by the way. And Mr. Ngandu, your last thoughts on the show today?
We would like to see African leaders not just make statements, but stand with each other in practice. I've always wondered why our leaders speak one thing and act differently. I was thinking the other time of this SADC trade protocol, which demanded that Africans, negotiated as a bloc. But we saw South Africa going to sign a private agreement with the European Union to the detriment of other SADC member states. We want to see African leaders not just speak with one voice, but act with one purpose. If we do that, Africa will become secure and our independence real. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, Jevan.
Can I take it away?
Before, is Jevan there?
Javan is gone.
Is
Everybody's
Simon there? We had a guest earlier who made some very important
We had
points.
a guest by name Mahachi, a silent listener.
Okay.
I know him.
Very well.
I know
Doctor.
him.
Okay.
Okay.
Conclude for us then.
Now, thank you very much. I first of all want to thank the panel. First, I want to apologize to the panel that I had to react that way, and so that Mr. Anzania can react the same way. You see, he came out to tell us the truth. But at that time, I could not differentiate who was killing who. Because the whole South Africa was involved in the struggle. So please forgive me as a guerrilla fighter. I start by causing chaos first. Then we can have problems sorted out later. 2, I call upon African heads of state to remove visa restrictions. Remove visa restrictions. Such a forum, we as intellectuals, Amai, Bogi Chumba, Sangando, Miriam, Girimi, Professor Onyari, Magaza, we should call upon Africa to unite, to remove visa restrictions. I am glad that it is only my country in Africa that gives Somalia visa at the entry at the airport. The rest of the countries put sanctions on Somalia. But despite all this, the rest of African Union, they promised us passports. We sent our photographs. These passports up to today have not appeared. Ramaphosa, what have you done with our money? We sent photographs. You told us to send first generation heads of state, second generation ministers of foreign affairs, then the rest, then ministers, then third, fourth. I was in the category number 7. I took my picture, however ugly it is, up to today. My passport of African Union has not arrived. So when shall we get these passports? 3, on the question of Zimbabwe and South Africa, the truth is what Mr. Ngano and the Zimbabwe panel has said. There is a hidden agenda. And I want to tell you frankly, my people in Zimbabwe, especially those, Maganza and the rest, who approach the authorities, who see, let me tell you, this is a regime change in disguise. It is being fermented by South Africa. There are some people in South Africa who came to supervise you. There is a man in South Africa on South African Broadcasting Corporation called Ndolo.
Yeah.
From Marondera.
Yeah.
I know him.
He's leaving his job.
Yes. He's the one heading the squad that wants to dismember Zimbabwe. Every time he comes on the news using South African Broadcasting Corporation, he's undermining Emerson Mnangagwa's government efforts. He has been pocketed by rebels, Kasukwere, and another one without hair, with bad hair called what? What is his name? Calling himself Mugabe's what? What? I don't like it.
Wow.
Zwao in our culture means useless. Zao. Then Walter Muzembe. Then Musipa. Look, you Zimbabweans are watching. There is Musipa in London, Mangazia in Dr. Somebody, Alex Magazia. These are people scheming to take Zimbabwe to the ICC. I want to warn them. that you try in Zimbabwe, you will find a roadblock. Matsanga is there. You have seen some papers flying around Amai Shumba that they want to take Zimbabwe to the ICC. They are lawyers, but cheap lawyers. Dr. Magazi studied cheap law. He's lucky that he got some man in the office, Foreign Affairs, who gives him a room to talk shit. But he doesn't know that some of us were originals in London, 1987, when he was actually taking a breast. Amai's breast in Bulawayo or Bundura. So he should not threaten people. Or you will take Mnangagwa to the ICC. You take Zimbabwe to the ICC. Zimbabwe is not a member state of the ICC. We are ready to defend. And some of us are here. Let the president do his work. Let him change the livelihood of the people of Zimbabwe. Let him fight corruption if it is there. Don't spare people. Take them down. Kikurubi is a very good prison on the African continent where you are given very good uniform. Did you know that Zimbabwe is the only good prison that gives you very nice uniforms? So some people should go down there for some bad things. But don't tell me you are going to take Mnangagwa. Finally, Miriam, I want to thank you for all you have done today, this afternoon. This panel was a very difficult panel to handle, but you actually stood your ground, especially myself. This thing of xenophobia has been on my heart. I want you to find room to forgive me for having been very strong and very emotional on these killings. And Ganu, my friend, I want to encourage you that soon I will send you the link of the African radio. You depart, you enjoy, you put it around Luton. Let it be part and parcel of you. You will make broadcast direct from Luton. So don't worry, so that we can educate people. And I'm very happy with you, the panel, Kirimi, Professor Onyari, as usual. We are conflict resolution officers. But we can't allow conflict if there is no conflict. You have first to conflict Mr. Anzania, then he can talk the truth later. That is the strategy I used today, sir. So give me some marks. I had to tell him some bad words. Then he came back to talk something very good. And that's the way to mediate. Now he has told us the problem that there is no land. He told us the problem that ANC is very bad. He told us the problem that Ramaphosa took everything. If I had not shouted at him, he would not have said, you a teacher yourself, Mama Bongi. Students of that, you use psychology, reverse psychology, to get them to talk. Thank you very much. Thank you, Depano. Thank you, Magaza. Thank you back in Nairobi.
All right.
Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Matsanga. Thank you, Madam Miriam. And everyone on the panel. Thank you, Baba Mangaza.
Thank you very much. You called my name very correctly.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much.
Can you speak some Shona for us?
Maita zvenyu veduwe, maita zvenyu, Auntie Miriam, Uncle, okay, I won't say auntie and uncle. Maita zvenyu, Mzvare Miriam. Maita zvenyu Sekuru Matsanga. Maita zvenyu vamwe vese vanga varipo nhasi papanel. Maita Mwari akuitire zvakanaka.
Tinotenda magona.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Comrade Bongi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
very
Dr.
much.
Matsanga. Thank you, Mr. Maganza. Thank you, Professor Jared Onyari. Thank you, Douglas Kirimi. Thank you, Jevan Karanja, who left the conversation a bit earlier. Thank you, Madam Bongi. Thank you, Mr. Ngandu. Thank you, Dr. Matsanga. And of course, we had Simon there and Tanzania. And one of our viewers here, Naftali Ndambel, you're saying if ANC is controlled by imperialists, then they do not do good to the struggle fought by people like Mandela, Steve Biko, to be named just a few. And Bernard Chigumbura, you're saying we must keep on discussing problems affecting Africa, build positive grounds to prosperity. Indeed, we have a responsibility and be all this continent. And if we have a platform, then we have to use it to advance our own narratives and speak out. Maybe we can get solutions to some of these problems. Thank you so much for joining us. You and the rest of you who have been watching us, this has been Diplomatic Leaks. I'll be back here at 3 p.m. with news making headlines across the continent of Africa. My name is Mia Mugutu. Bye-bye for now.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.